So I'm gonna lose $30,000 on this house right behind me. Now listen, I've done hundreds and hundreds of real estate deals. I've only lost money on maybe 4 or 5 deals in total, and half of those deals have been in just this year. So that is why you wanna pay attention to this video so you don't make the same mistakes that I do. So first I'm gonna tell you my original plans with this house, and then I'm gonna show you where I messed up at. But first and foremost, if we look across the street, this is the biggest reason why I messed up on this property.
Failure! You're still a failure!
It's all commercial. It's on the main street, right off the freeway, and it's a ton of traffic and a ton of noise. But let's go inside and take a look at the rest. So this is actually my first time personally walking through this property. So I'm gonna show you some things why this house isn't selling. But our original plan to buy this house in the first place was to buy it and then sell it to a hedge fund, right? We got an offer from the hedge fund, it was great. We're ready to rock, we're gonna make some money. But what happened is once we bought it, we had to do a tiny bit of work to the property. It took a couple weeks, and by the time we got back to the hedge fund, this is about the same time the market started to get really, really weird. So market started changing, hedge fund dropped their price. We're gonna lose money at that point. So we had to do a little bit more work to the property to actually list it on the MLS. And now we're here about, I don't know, 5-6 months later, and the property still hasn't sold. So we've actually been in and out of contract like 3 or 4 times now. So had a buyer and then lost it, and had a buyer and then lost it, and had a buyer and then lost it. So I'm gonna walk you through this property, just show you some of the bad things with the property, and probably why it's not selling. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to see this on the camera, but the first thing, if you look at this flooring, it's like real like wavy, right? It's supposed to lay flat, but it's like wavy. So the floors need redone in parts of the house. And then if we look at this dishwasher right here, it actually wasn't, the size wasn't built correctly. So there's this big gap in the cabinet that's just kind of like open. And the only way to fix that is to either put in a filler or replace all the cabinets. And we don't have the budget to replace all the cabinets because we're gonna lose money on this house. Then a couple more things. If we look at this room, which is the washer and dryer room, it's on what was an old patio, I guess. But this is where the washer and dryer is supposed to go. So kind of weird. It's not really kind of in the house, kind of outside of the house. One last thing I got to show you down in the basement here. So this is the second bathroom. Make sure you watch this. We got this beautiful shower, and it has a concrete base that drains to here when the actual drain is there. So this really kind of isn't even a second full bathroom, and that's a problem. And this house has what's called a boiler system instead of a furnace, which basically how this works is it heats up these lines and then sends these lines of heat throughout the house. And then there's these systems that are attached to the walls where the water then is so hot, it puts off heat into the house. Again, not the end of the world. It's just not a normal thing here in the state of Ohio. So again, not a good situation. So at the end of the day, how did this really happen, right? I got lazy and bought a house that you shouldn't have bought, right? You can never fix a bad deal, right? You make your money on the buy, you realize it when you sell. So our exit was the hedge fund. There was no other exit strategy, and the hedge fund backed out. So we got stuck holding the bag. So on this deal, probably gonna lose $30-ish thousand. Hopefully not a bunch more. It might be more than that. Might keep it as a rental. Who knows what's gonna happen at this point. So I will give you an update once we decide what to do with this property. But in the meantime, how do you not get put in this situation, right? So there's a few things that you need to do. Number one is always have multiple exit strategies. So if you flip it, cool, that's one exit. Make sure it's got real profit margin so you can cut the price if you need to. Make sure it could also work as a rental property if it needs to be, right? That's 3 exit strategies on one deal. This one basically had no exit strategies. So another thing for us is we're looking to buy houses in lower end price points because that's where they actually usually make sense as actual rental properties. This house is higher price point, so the rent has to be significantly higher for it to make sense as a rental property, right? This rents aren't that high in this market right now. So be careful buying higher end properties because it limits the exit strategies. And if you're doing higher end properties, just make sure you have a big enough profit margin So you're able to cut the price if, you know, markets turn or, you know, you overestimated the ARV or whatever it was. You're still able to cut the price and get out of the deal without losing money. So drop a comment in the comment section below if you would rent this or flip this. If I flip it, I'm gonna sell this house and pay somebody $30,000, $40,000 to buy the house from me. Or if I rent it, I'm gonna have to put another, you know, $20,000, $30,000 of my money into the deal. And then it's gonna be a net zero cash flow because the rents will be about $2,000, the payments will be about $2,000, and that's assuming no vacancies and no repairs. So I'm gonna be losing money every month on a rental property as well. So comment below, let me know which one you would do. And if you wanna know how to actually run good numbers on deals and buy cash flowing real estate, check out this next video.